Welcome to this guide to the string family. In the next few minutes you're going to learn all about string instruments, in particular the violin, the viola, the cello and the double bass. Playing musical instruments with other people is really fun, and later on we will show you what these instruments sound like together.
Hello and welcome to the Strings Roadshow. I play the violin and it sounds a bit like this. You might know this tune. The violin has 4 strings, as you can see, and they range from high to low. They have different letter names. This highest one is the E string, A string, D string, and the G at the bottom. And this means I've got a lot of notes. I can play lots of different tunes. The violin normally gets to play the melody, the main theme of the music that you're playing, and it makes the highest sounds in the string family.
I play the viola. It's a little bit bigger than a violin and it goes lower in pitch, so we share 3 strings that are the same as the violin: A, D and G. But we have a much lower sounding string called the C string. I play it the same way as a violin, up here on the collarbone with a bow going from side to side, like all string instruments, but it has a slightly different tone quality. Have a listen to this piece to hear what the difference is between the tone quality of the violin and the viola.
Hello, I play the cello and it sounds like this. As you can see, the cello has 4 strings, just like the violin and viola, but it is much bigger. I can't put this underneath my chin to play it. The lowest string we have is the C string. Because it makes this low sound, because it's bigger, we tend to get lots of bass lines to play. Now this may seem easier, but it is a very important role to play when you're playing as part of a group. As well as the bass lines, we often get lots of beautiful melodies to play, so we really do get the best of both worlds. The cello plays a huge range of music in different styles, ranging from classical to rock music, and that's why cello is my favourite instrument.
Hello, I'd like to show you the biggest member of the strings family, the double bass. Okay, so just like the other members of the strings family, this instrument has 4 strings and they sound like this. So because of its big size, the instrument does make a really low sound. Now I was using my finger to play the strings, called plucking, and sometimes you might hear a double bass providing the bass line in, for example, a jazz band or a big band, and sounding like this. So there, you're getting some very rhythmic playing, and it's almost like a drum and helps the other musicians to play in time with each other. Now, just like the other members of the strings family, the double bass can be played with a bow, And I'd like to play you a little bit from a piece called The Elephant, where the big double bass is being used to describe the big animal. Now, sometimes people are put off learning the double bass because of its big size. Now that really is a great shame, because the double bass is quite a unique instrument amongst the strings, being able to provide that rhythmic bass line and also to play some great tunes of its own.
So now you know a little bit about the instruments in the string family. And you can see the strings range from very high to very low. And that means we can play together easily as a string section. One of the best things about playing a string instrument is playing with other people and feeling that sense of teamwork. That's why I love it so much. We're going to play a piece for you all together now, and there's a few tasks for you to do as you listen. Number one, I want you to think about pulse. What's the heartbeat or the pulse of this music? As you listen, can you quietly tap your fingertips together and see if you can find that pulse? Number two, listen out for the main theme of the piece, or the tune, as it passes between the different instruments. It might sound like this, or it might sound like this, and it might be me playing it might be the cello player or the viola. See if you can follow as it passes between the different players in the group. And number three, think about the setting of this piece. Where might you hear this music? When would it have been played? Is it from a long time ago, or do you think it sounds quite modern? And when you finish listening, see if you can discuss those things with your teacher. This piece is called the St. Cecilia Rag. performance, that piece was based on ragtime music. And ragtime was music that developed in America around the early 20th century. So you're talking about 1900 to about 1920. And it was the earliest form of jazz music. So if you said jazz or jazzy, you're right, well done, ragtime music. So finally, I'd like to tell you about the instrument a little bit more and what kind of things you can expect to do if you choose to learn the violin. So we produce the sound in different ways. It's all about vibration. First thing we might do is pluck the string like a guitar. Can you see that string vibrate? So that's what's making the sound. And we always start with that. It's called pizzicato because it's quite complicated learning to hold it and get it right. So we just start by plucking. So you might pluck a little piece that sounds like this. And just learn to hold the violin and feel comfortable plucking the strings. When you're really good at that, we introduce the bow. Again, it's about vibration. If I hold the violin up, you can see how the bow hair makes the string vibrate. See that moving? So that's kind of stage 2, and then you can play a little tune still with your 4 strings. When you've got all of that, we introduce the fingers. When you put a finger down, you're changing the length of the string. There's no fingers, you can see the string can vibrate all the way up to here. When you put a finger down, then you can the string can only vibrate between the finger and the bridge there. As you add more fingers, you've got less string to vibrate, and that changes the sound. Listen to what happens as I put my fingers down. I'll just stand up so you can see. There's no fingers. 1 finger, 2 fingers, 3 fingers. And you get, the shorter the string, the higher the sound will be. So that's the sort of stages of learning violin. If you think you'd like to have a go at violin, well, talk to your teacher. We'd love to see you. Thank you very much for watching, and we hope to see you soon.